Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of After Credits. I didn't just get out of Free Fire, I saw it Saturday night, alone I might add, which is awesome for an action movie. With less meat bags to absorb the sound, you can just get every juicy bit of blood and bullets, and it's so good. I fell in love. I've been looking for a really great movie since Trainspotting 2. And while I loved Fate of the Furious as kind of like a popcorn, lunatic, Jason Statham with a baby movie, this has some of the best actors, some of the coolest writing, and fun directing you'll see all year. The movie's about two groups, one led by Cillian Murphy, one led by Sharlto Copley, and they meet in this abandoned Boston warehouse around, I want to say the early 80s, late 70s, to do an arms deal. Weapons are being exchanged for money. It all goes smoothly until two, I won't even say secondary, tertiary characters get into a beef. Guns are drawn, one bullet's fired, and from that moment on, the rest of the movie is a giant firefight led by ego, fear, paranoia, inebriation, and it just devolves into madness. What's really funny about this is that it didn't have to be this way. All you have to do is just stop shooting. Everyone, get over yourselves, just stop shooting, and we'll figure it out. But no, I think what director Ben Wheatley is doing is he's just taking the piss out of ego and looking at how ego leads to destruction and leads to greed and leads to a lot of misery. It's funny just seeing how wild this movie gets out of one little spark. Like Liam's Baby Driver review, I'm going to go into this one spoiler free. I think it's best that you just kind of come into this with that tiny bit of premise and let yourself see how ridiculous this movie gets for yourself. Right now, I'm just going to talk about the characters I loved. This is an ensemble built of people that once you see them in movies, you'll love forever. However, they're not in as big a profile movies as you'll get. I think the biggest profile actor in here is Brie Larson, because she's going to be in Captain Marvel and she was just in Kong Skull Island. But you've got people like the aforementioned Cillian Murphy and Sharlto Copley. You've got Armie Hammer, Jack Rayner, if you saw him in last year's Sing Street. He's hilarious in this. Sam Riley, I didn't recognize this guy at first, but he's in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and does a 180 flip in this character here. I loved it. You would think that a 90-minute shootout would get boring, and while it does dull down, what Ben Wheatley does intelligently is make the first part of the movie about character and about interactions, so that even when bullets aren't flying, you're just watching these actors riff off of each other, make fun of each other, and give each other shit in the best way. You have various degrees of madness. You have people like Sam Riley, who's just a black-toothed, junky douchebag, and Jack Rayner, who's kind of over the top, trying to get in good with Sharlto Copley, but because of his own anger issues, kind of fucks everything. And then you've got people like Michael Smiley, who's soft-spoken, but ready to pull a gun out at every moment's notice. Cillian Murphy is sort of that headstrong, knows what he wants, and doesn't want to take any shit. Brie Larson's very cool, trying to calm everybody down. Sharlto Copley is pretty much doing another character from Hardcore Henry. Just this madman, cock-of-the-walk dude who thinks he's so much better than he really is. And then there's Armie Hammer, who's just the guy that's trying to be liked by everybody, and he's one of the funniest dudes in the movie. Ben Wheatley kind of makes this warehouse a sandbox. And you start noticing, if you pick up on it well, that every bullet has a purpose. In order to make this look chaotic, there had to be so much behind the scenes that was planned. Standouts to me are Jack Rayner and Armie Hammer. Those guys need to get bigger roles. The fact that Liam Hemsworth is more well known than Jack Rayner or Armie Hammer is a crime against humanity. Scorsese executive produced this, And it's very much like Scorsese to take something like morality and approach it with a street level sensibility. It's a very short movie, less than an hour and a half, and while the pace may dull down, the movie doesn't, because it's set up these characters and each one of them has interaction and each one of them has banter and pot shots to throw at another to kind of keep the comedy going. And it also works on a sense of tension, because you know if one of these guys moves from their spot, somebody out of fear or just an instinct to survival is going to shoot a bullet their way. There are little monkey wrenches thrown in where people that weren't even in the movie at the beginning will just come up and start shooting. So it does do well to kind of like, oh shit, shock you. I know there might be a lot of people that might be brought down by the pace. This might be their biggest issue with the movie, but I think that the characters are written so sharply and their performers are so good that even when the movie slows down, and I do admit it, I kind of dozed off a bit. Keep in mind, if you're awake 15 hours before you see this movie, not necessarily the best idea. The performances are done so well that it'll carry you through it'll carry you through the slow parts. And you might even find that some of the best parts of the movie are when the bullets aren't flying. It's dumb in the best way, and by that, it's dumb because we're dumb. This movie could be over in 10 minutes if people would just get over themselves, but I think the point is that we don't get over ourselves and we overcomplicate things. This is a deceptively simple movie in the way that I think Colossal was trying to be, but Colossal got lost trying to reconcile its metaphor with its plot. Because Ben Wheatley keeps this so intimate and closed off and all about the characters, it works. It's just a firefight. It's a shootout for 90 minutes that addresses ego in a way that some art house epic of 180 minutes wouldn't be able to touch. For that, a really solid 5 out of 6. I fell in love with this movie. If you watch this flick, bring a bunch of friends, go watch it in the theater, have a blast, and watch great actors deliver great writing from a great director. Simple as that. If you like this video, feel free to click the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, subscribe if you want to be the first to find out when new content is up. As far as social media, we've got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. My friend Liam runs a blog, liammmcgawhan.wordpress.com. And our friend Noah is the Cinema Geek on Instagram. All relevant links down below. As far as next week goes, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The critics have been saying this is a divisive movie, so I'm kind of curious to see what our group thinks of it. We saw WWE Payback yesterday, so expect our coverage of that coming up soon, as well as the next chapter in our storyline. And as far as viewer's choice goes, yes, I will get onto this. I will tie Barnyard and especially Liam down to watch the Boondock Saints. And after that, we're going to be carrying on our list of recommendations. So if you have movies to recommend to us, it can be of any kind, of any quality, just something that we haven't reviewed before, please leave that comment down below. As always, thank you all very, very much for watching. Check out Free Fire, have a good time, and we'll see you later. Bye.